Goal fest. Absolute goal fest this week in the Champions League. On Tuesday in particular, man, as Barcelona and Dortmund especially, were running riot. What's up, guys? My name's Adrian, and welcome back to the UCL this week. Also, I'd like to introduce you to the newest kit in my collection. Another rare one from the legends over at Sangalo. This kit is from Rwandan Premier League club Musanze FC. And what makes it even cooler is that this kit was actually designed, manufactured, sponsored by, and of course distributed worldwide by Sangalo themselves, which helps the club raise funds and raise their profile worldwide as well, give them some exposure they wouldn't otherwise get. So if you want to support a club like Musanze FC and help grow the game worldwide with Sangalo, use the link in the description and be sure to enter the code RBTV at the checkout to get 10% off of your order. Thanks as always to Sangalo, the most unique kit shop in the world, as they stock kits from clubs in India, the Ivory Coast, the Cook Islands, Indonesia, Laos, all kinds of places. They are football saints, so thank you, Sangalo. Stade Brestois. So far, they have won the matches they've needed to win in order to have a chance at survival, and my anti-jinx is working for them. From 2 matches, funnily enough, both against Austrian sides, they have now won both of them, and they defeated RB Salzburg 4-0 in Salzburg. Crazy, man. That's a massive away win. 2 goals from Sima, 1 apiece from Madi Camara and Pereira Lage. Abdallah Sima, who's on loan at Stade Brestois from Brighton, is now on 3 goals in this tournament. His first came from a great setup from Ajorc in this match. What a through ball outside of the boot. Beauty. As for Salzburg, it's been a very difficult start to the season for them, both in Europe and domestically. You could hear the frustration of their supporters at the end of this one as they whistled off their team. This Salzburg side is incredibly young, and they have an inexperienced coach at the helm in Pep Linders. The average age of their starting 11 outfield players was just under 21 years old. Goalkeeper Janis Blažević is 33, of course, so he breaks it up. So a young side, an inexperienced coach, and it's all going fairly poorly for them. That's not to take away from Stade Brestois at all. Stade Brestois. They were fantastic on the counter, and Marco Bizot made some incredible saves. 7 saves in this match, but Salzburg is in a really bad way. They aren't the plucky team we used to know, right? Stuttgart played at home against Sparta Praha on Tuesday after giving Real Madrid a bit of a migraine at the Bernabeu the other week. This was the first Champions League match at home for Stuttgart since the 2009-10 season, and they had a dream start. A header that was far too easy, almost completely uncontested for Enzo Milo, who's been in great form lately, to put Stuttgart ahead in the 7th minute. He scored in 3 consecutive matches now. But it was a frustrating one for Stuttgart. For all of their domination, a 32nd minute equalizer from Kan Karainen left this match at a deadlock. And by the way, the equalizer was a sick free kick from distance that nestled into the top corner, almost unsavable. 1-1, and Sparta stay undefeated on 4 points. Watching Arsenal versus PSG, and Arsenal were quite good in this one. Unfortunately for PSG, while they were dangerous at times and were a bit unlucky with strikes hitting the bar or just going wide, it felt like their away support put in a better performance than the players. In fact, I couldn't help but think during this match that it must be a real treat for Arsenal supporters to get to host fantastic away support during these European matches. The drums, the chanting, the atmosphere throughout the entire match, it's a nice gift from the away support. Anyway, Arsenal found themselves leading when Kai Havertz beat Donnarumma to a header. Bit of a weak keeping job there from Donnarumma. Remember those words, by the way. But it was a great header and great bravery from Havertz. That one was his 5th goal of the season. Then later, a Bukayo Saka free kick, a tame one really that was just looking for a touch at the near post. Didn't get any touches, and Donnarumma kind of flapped at it. Again, not great from him, though he did make up for it with some key saves in this match as well. PSG not quite ready for this level of competition yet. Perhaps it was just a case of being a bit shaky in defense in the first half that killed them, as they were much improved in that second half. But this is a team that they are building for success in the future, not this season in particular. 2-0 the final. PSG felt a bit aggrieved with some decisions, namely this handball shout that came off of Calafiori's arm when Saliba was trying to clear the ball. For me, Now, as expected, Barcelona steamrolled young boys at Montjuic. That sounds quite gory, doesn't it? Horrible scenes as young boys get steamrolled in Barcelona. travesty. But anyway, the club name that just keeps on giving, right? Rafinha's strong performances continued in this match as he was central to a lot of the good that Barcelona had going forward. They were truly playing some flick ball, right? One-touch passes leading up to Lewandowski's opener as he was free at the back post to tap in Rafinha's squared ball. Rafinha then smashed home from a Pedri rebound. By the way, the touch from Pedri to give himself some space for the strike was nasty. Inigo Martinez made it 3 as Barcelona scored 2 goals in 3 minutes in the first half. Lewandowski made it 4 in the second half, and then a horror show own goal made it 5 for Barcelona. It was cool seeing Ansu Fati getting some playing time out there. The guy's had a rough go in the last few years, hasn't he? Also, Frankie de Jong coming on, getting some playing time. That was big, as once Barcelona gets some of these injured players back on the pitch, they'll be very scary. In fact, I made a video about them this past Monday, if you want to check that out. Yes, a positive video about Barcelona. Things are turning around there. Bayer Leverkusen hosted AC Milan, an AC Milan side that had won both of their domestic matches since their previous Champions League loss to Liverpool, where I said, hey, pressure's on Fonseca, right? They won the matches against Inter and Lecce, so nothing to turn your nose up to, you know? That said, Milan had a horrible first half against Leverkusen where they should have conceded more, and Leverkusen did score 1 goal that was ruled out due to Frimpong being offside. In the second half, Boniface got his just dues to make it 1-0 Leverkusen, and then Milan finally started playing, and Leverkusen began showing off their defensive capabilities once again, just as they did against Bayern, sitting back, right? In the end, Fonseca's side couldn't find an equalizer, and they came close on a couple of occasions, right? Losing 1-0. I'd say Milan is improved now, but still not quite at the level they should be. Still early in the season, guys. Less than 10 matches played for them. Leverkusen away is not easy. Leverkusen, however, great return to this competition as they have 2 wins from 2, and they haven't conceded a goal yet. Inter hosted Crvena Zvezda and slapped 4 goals past them, with Mehdi Taremi finally scoring his first for Inter. He's had some decent play of late for them, but the goals eluded him. He finally scored, but it was from the penalty spot. However, he also set up both Lautaro Martinez and Marco Arnautovic, his 2 strike partners in this match, so well done to him. Hakan Çalhanoğlu scored the other one, which was the opener, and it was a free kick, a banger. That thing was moving in the air. I think it took a tiny touch off the defender, but still, stunning strike off the post and in. And would you believe it? It was his first free kick goal for Inter. PSV and Sporting played out a 1-1 draw in Eindhoven, as PSV will be kicking themselves for not taking their chances in this one. However, when Sporting would get close to their goal, they were able to carve out decent opportunities and were actually quite wasteful themselves. Looking at you, Quaresma. No goal from Victor Gyökeres, which is a surprise, as Sporting's equalizer came from Daniel Bragança. And finally, the Borussia Dortmund ride is pretty fun these days. They beat Brugge relatively late with 3-0, then lose 5-1 to Stuttgart, then fall 2-0 behind to Bochum at home, only to turn that game around to a 4-2 win. And this week, they absolutely destroyed, and I mean destroyed, Celtic 7-1. And this was a Celtic that won 5-1 themselves in the previous match day against Slovan Bratislava, but still. Karim Adeyemi getting a first half hat trick as he was unplayable for the Celtic defenders. He was hauled off in the 48th minute with a knock, but it doesn't look too serious. Probably good to just wrap him up in cotton wool after that display. Take the precautions, right? Still, the man of the match, that's for sure. Also good to see that Serhou Guirassy is continuing to score goals after making the switch from Stuttgart. He wasn't a one-season wonder. Must have been fun to watch his old club beat up his current club 5-1, but at least he scored in that match. In fact, he scored in 4 consecutive matches now. Guirassy with a brace, Emre Can and Felix Nemecha with the others. Massive night for Borussia Dortmund, as this was the match where they've won by the biggest margin in the Champions League, so shout out to Borussia Dortmund. Huge. The rollercoaster ride continues. Man, I totally forgot to speak about Man City's match in Slovakia yesterday, so here we are with a wardrobe change 24 hours later. They beat Slovan Bratislava 4-0. No other outcome was really expected after Slovan were beat down by Celtic, right? That said, Slovan came very close in the first 2 minutes. What a moment that would have been. Scoring 2 minutes in against City. But following that, City continued to dominate the ball, and from a rebound off a block shot, Gundogan hit a deflected strike into the back of the net after 8 minutes. Phil Foden, who was given a start, which was just his second of the season, I believe, made it 2-0 as he combined with Doku before picking out the bottom corner. And in the second half, after what was a very frustrating match for Haaland up to that point, he scored his 11th of the season as he was played through the heart of the defense, rounded the keeper, and rolled it in. Final goal, James McCarthy, the young fella, scored his first for City as he hammered in a scooped through ball from Foden. 4-0, casual from City. All right, now to Wednesday. Girona hosted Feyenoord for their first ever Champions League home match, and they lost, unfortunately, for their supporters. It was a decent fight from them, and what was a bit of a bonkers game that was full of own goals from Girona. Atalanta went to Gelsenkirchen to take on Shakhtar at their temporary home. Unfortunately for Shakhtar, they didn't find much joy in this match, as Gasperini's side was very much dominant. Ademola Lookman continues to be an absolute star for Atalanta as he scored and assisted in this match, setting up Jim City for the opener before making it 2-0 himself right before the half. Then just after the half, Raul Bellanova made it 3-0 to kill this thing off. That third goal was really well worked from Atalanta, and the footwork from Samardzic in the lead up. Whew! That man was dancing through defenders. Benfica, my boys. You know what's funny? When I was building out my predictions table for this phase of the competition, we were in horrible shape. Roger Schmidt was still the coach and wasn't changing anything to turn our form in a more positive direction. We were losing to Famalicão, incapable of beating Moreirense, scraping a win against Estrela de Amadora. It was horrible. Then we brought in Bruno Lage, whose record at both Wolves and Botafogo was terrible, and that was who we brought in. That was the man we brought in to turn things around when Benfica was already really bad, right? I absolutely wasn't alone when it comes to being skeptical of how things would go, although there's a lot of Benfiquistas on the internet that are pretending like they knew all along that Benfica would turn it around. But anyway, somehow, some way, Lage has been just what Benfica has needed, and with signings like Atarkolu and even Zeki Amdouni, Benfica has looked completely different. Fun, exciting football, lots of goals, and Kerem Aktürkoğlu is a Ballon d'Or worthy player now. But in all seriousness, Benfica started incredibly well against Atletico Madrid at the Estadio de Luz, and who else but Aktürkoğlu to put Benfica ahead and cast the Cruciatus curse on Atletico Madrid. One of the sickest celebrations in the game. Way cooler than when Weston McKennie's does it. Sorry, but it is. Angel Di Maria doubled Benfica's lead with a lovely penalty after Pavlidis was trod upon by Gallagher, and then Benfica got a third, dude. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Right after the referee had told Jimenez to stop yapping right before the corner, that must have bamboozled the Atleti defenders, because Ba getting a free header after losing Gallagher from a set piece. Free header against Atleti? Against Atleti? That doesn't happen too often, man. But it happened. 3-0 at that point. You want more? Another penalty, this time won by Zeki Amdouni as he went on a nice run, took two defenders out of the play, and then another defender took him out in the box. Kokshu absolutely hammers it past Oblak, 4-0, and I felt concussed. I felt confused. I didn't know how we had arrived at this point compared to where we were under Schmidt last season and at the beginning of this one. I don't know how Lage has done it again. Just like he did the last time he took over in 2019, he takes over again and gets the team absolutely flying. And I'm not even being hyperbolic when I say that Benfica could have had 2 or 3 more goals, while Atletico Madrid didn't even have a single shot on target from their 4 attempts in this match. This was domination in every aspect of the game. I know people hate XG, and I agree, some people use it incorrectly, but I only ever really use it to try to give you an idea of the kind of action we were seeing around the goal. Benfica with an XG of 4.21, Atletico 0.21. It's crazy to watch. It really is. Benfica is looking very, very strong under Bruno Lage, and I don't want to say anything other than that because I will absolutely be accused of jinxing Benfica. Look, I can do nothing right with a lot of Benfica supporters. If I speak highly of Benfica, as soon as things go wrongly, Adrian, you jinxed it. If I am very skeptical of Benfica when they are playing like shit, Adrian, you should have had more faith after things unexpectedly turn around. That's the way it goes. And that's kind of why you see me speak of them less and less these days. It's annoying, but it's okay. I still enjoy watching them play. Real Madrid went away to Lille, a Lille side that lost 2-0 away to Sporting last time, and Ancelotti rotated in a few positions. Endrick was given his first start of the season, Lunin started ahead of Courtois, Camavinga in for Modric. It wasn't really a great start for Real Madrid in this match, and Lunin had to make a fantastic double save on Jonathan David around the 25th minute. Massive from Lunin. UCL Lunin, eh? Still got it from last season. He loves this competition. However, there wasn't much he could do about Lille's goal in the first half. A free kick led to a handball from Camavinga that upon VAR review was given as a penalty, and up stepped Jonathan David to convert it. Man, with Alphonso Davies' goal from last season against them, that's 2 separate Canadians scoring against Real Madrid within the same calendar year. I am proud of my country. Oh, Canada. And Real Madrid did not look good in the second half either, as it was still Lille that was looking the more dangerous of the two teams. Zagrova, for example, causing headaches and nearly curling one in as he cut inside from the right. It wasn't until Ancelotti was forced into bringing on Modric and Mbappé where Real Madrid started to carry some danger to their play a bit more. The best chance I can think of, however, came in maybe the 85th minute or so when a ball headed across goal was met by Rudiger, and they forced a couple of big saves out of Lille, both the keeper Chevalier and Thiago Santos off at the line. Rudiger also had a header that Chevalier saved earlier in the match as well. Arda Güler, he came close. Real Madrid did have their chances, but Lille stood strong at the back, and in the first ever meeting between Lille and Real Madrid, with Real Madrid unbeaten in 36 matches across all competitions without losing a single match in the Champions League last season, Lille defeated them. In the battle of the Mbappé brothers, Ethan Mbappé won, and he didn't even play. And with this new format, there are no rematches, so he will have bragging rights for a long time. Now, let's talk about Bayern here, fellas, because last time on the show I brought up their schedule. They had such a nice start to the season, beating teams like Holstein Kiel, Wolfsburg, Dinamo Zagreb, and scoring goals for fun. The big test was on the horizon, however. Leverkusen. They tie 1-1 at home after Leverkusen Park, the biggest bus they could find in Germany, and Bayern couldn't find a way through them. Next up, a trip away to Aston Villa, a very good team under a manager in Unai Emery who absolutely knows how to win in a situation like this, how to sit tight, choose your moments, do not concede. Aston Villa looked good doing exactly that, utilizing guys like Watkins and Rodgers as their outball. Pau Torres actually put them ahead at 22 minutes in, but it was called off for offside from the free kick. Martinez, he was forced into some great saves. He was no doubt Villa's man of the match, but Bayern were undone with a simple route one goal. A ball hoofed forward for Duran, and he hit a looping strike over Manuel Neuer, 1-0, and it ended that way. Bayern lose their first match of the season after winning 6 consecutively. Duran, what a start to the season for him. 6 goals in 9 appearances now, and he is absolutely a super sub. Hasn't started a match in the Premier League or Champions League, and he averages a goal every 49.5 minutes this season. AS Monaco, after defeating Barcelona last time, had to go away to Dinamo Zagreb and found themselves 2-0 down after 66 minutes played. The second goal for Dinamo from Baturina was a beauty. But the fight that these guys showed to get back into this one, clawing one back in the 74th minute, and then a Dennis Zakaria penalty in the 89th tied it up, so AS Monaco are still unbeaten. Club Brugge got their first victory of the campaign as they went away to Austria to take on Sturm Graz, and an incredible goal from Greek winger Christos Zolis. I mean, do yourself a favor and look this goal up, go on Reddit or something and search his name and you'll find it pretty quickly. But great touch, then a perfectly placed strike that goes in off of the post in the top corner. It had a ton of power on the strike as well. It came out of nowhere. 1-0 win for Brugge. What a goal. Liverpool hosted Bologna, and it was a difficult fight that they had on their hands. Bologna showed that they can be dangerous, that they aren't exactly pushovers, but the one thing that has disappointed me about them is their attack. They lack any bite in the attack, both in Europe and domestically. Granted, they sold their 2 best players, so that isn't really a surprise, right? Liverpool's goals came from Alexis McAllister and Mo Salah. For McAllister, his was a tap-in from Salah's incredible chipped ball that put it on a plate for him, and that was McAllister's first Champions League goal. Honestly, the room that he had, him and Diaz at the back post, was pretty crazy, but I guess every single Bologna player and even Liverpool supporters thought that Salah would have shot from this position, and rightfully so. Because in the second half, when Salah was in that position, he did shoot, and it was a beauty into the top corner. 2-0 Liverpool, and another fantastic result for Arne Slot, and yet another clean sheet, by the way. That's 5 clean sheets in 9 matches for Liverpool. No clean sheets in Juventus versus RB Leipzig, and I found it so funny just because of how jarring it is compared to most clubs in Europe to see RB Leipzig celebrating their entire 15 years of history. Like, I know their history. I know they were created by Red Bull not long ago, but usually we're used to hearing about teams celebrating their centenary, celebrating 120 years, etc. So to hear them celebrating 15 was kind of funny. They've gone a long way in 15 years, to be fair to them, but beyond that, this match was awesome. This was Vlahovic versus Seško going goal for goal, and it was Juve showing some incredible spirit in this match after going down a man. So, after Vlahovic had brought Juve level in this game at 1-1, Michele Di Gregorio gets himself sent off for sliding out of his box, and as Open rounded him, the ball touched off of his glove. That's a red card for a keeper, even if it was the slightest of touches. And then it got worse, as Xavi Simons won a penalty and Seško converted it to make it 2-1, a goal down, a man down, away, against a 15-year-old team. Sorry. Then Vlahovic scored again, an absolute stunner as Juve won the ball back in Leipzig's half. The Serbian tiptoed along the 18, then hit a looping, powered strike past Peter Gulácsi. So, 2-2. And when you are a man down away, you would absolutely be happy with that result, right? But on comes Francisco Conceição, a kid who is capable of magic on the ball now and then, and that's what he brought. He stepped between two Leipzig defenders, opened up his body, and side-footed the ball past Gulácsi to make it 3-2 for Juventus, and got them the win away to Leipzig when they really had it against them. 2 goals scored while down to 10 men. Fantastic stuff from Matas Fellas on that 15-year anniversary of RB Leipzig. Had to get one in there, eh? And looking at what that does to the table, Juve are one of the 7 teams that have won both of their matches now, as you can see. Massive wins. Great to see both Stade Brestois and Benfica up there, eh? 2 teams I had low expectations for delivering. That's why it's good to have low expectations. Here's a look at the middle of the table where we have a lot of teams that are still undefeated on 4 points. And here's the bottom of the table. Both of the Red Bull teams are winless, eh? As are AC Milan, but honestly, they have a much easier run in this competition with their final matches. Looking at it, they still have Real Madrid to play, but also Club Brugge, Slovan Bratislava, Red Star, Girona, and Dinamo. They should pick up some wins there. With Harry Kane failing to score, his early lead in the goals column has been slashed. Adeyemi and Guirassy both have almost caught up to him, and as for assists, not much movement. Musiala and Kimmich still leading, but Ludovic Ajorc is coming for them. Watch out. Alright guys, another insanely long Champions League recap in the books for you. I hope you enjoyed this and that you're still watching, and I do really appreciate you watching. Drop a like for me if you're enjoying the content, and I will see you next week during the international break. Ciao guys.